Joe Hopkins here, and today I'm doing a new episode of You Need to Hear This Album, because you need to hear this album. Today I'm talking about the album Load by Metallica. This came out in 1996, just as I was graduating high school. Excuse me, honestly, with Load, you can really kind of include Reload in this. The two albums really go together. The Load came out in 96, Reload came out in 97. But we're just going to talk about Load, because this is where so much controversy came in at the time. If you weren't alive at the time, you probably don't realize it. But the hardcore Metallica fans really just wanted Master of Puppets over and over and over and over and over again on repeat ad infinitum. And, well, yeah, okay, they had just a couple years before this had their largest commercial success with the Black Album, you know, Enter Sandman, all that kind of stuff. And they were following that up, too. Following up your largest album to date is never easy. And they got a lot of flack for this. A lot of people said they've sold out, they've gone alternative, that kind of stuff, which I think had less to do with the sound of the album, because, you know, musically they'd been moving in this direction for some time. Certainly, And Justice for All was different than Master of Puppets, and it continued to move in this direction with the Black Album. And this is kind of the direction they were going in. I think it has more to do with the fact that they all got haircuts. They had short hair for this album, and everybody got really pissed off about that, which has nothing to do with the music. And maybe they were just spending too much money on conditioner. Who knows? But I bought this album when it came out, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, it is a product of its time. Whereas their 80s stuff with Cliff Burton, which I loved that stuff, it was very 80s, but this was the 90s, and it was moving into the later 90s. It was no longer the 80s. They developed as a band. They moved along. They developed their sound. They were trying new things, and it worked, in my opinion. Honestly, I think it's a great album. I particularly like the first track, 2x4, right? No, Ain't My Bitch. That's it. The first track was Ain't My Bitch. And I particularly liked the guitar solo. Kirk Hammett whipped out some slide guitar, and I thought that was cool, right? Because he made it really work in a metal context, and it sounds really good. That's a really creative thing to do, you know? He's not the first person, obviously, to use slide guitar. He's not even the first person to use slide guitar in heavy metal. But a lot of times it doesn't work so good with metal, you know? That's sort of a rock and blues thing, and he made it work. It sounds really good. I thought it was cool. I thought all the solos on this album were really good. I thought the guitar work was excellent. I really liked the dark, plotting kind of feel, you know what I mean? Like I said, they were kind of moving from the angry thrash thing into a darker, I want to say heavier, but they were always heavy, but just kind of like a darker, more plotting kind of feel to it, moodier, I guess you could say, right? Their 80s stuff is just fast and angry, and it just got moodier in the 90s, and I liked it. I thought that was particularly cool. A lot of good songs on this album. The whole album is excellent, in my opinion. Like I said, I love the song Ain't My Bitch, 2x4, The House That Jack Built. I mean, the first couple tracks right off the bat are real rockers. I really liked Hero of the Day. That was excellent song. King Nothing. It's a really, really awesome album, in my personal opinion. I like the name Load. You know, yeah, if you don't get it, think about it a little bit. Maybe you'll get it. But yeah, this was, in my opinion, also Load and Reload had Jason Newsted's best bass work on it. I thought his bass stuff on this album was absolutely amazing. And honestly, I thought he was a really great bassist. It's unfortunate they had to replace Cliff Burton when he died, but I think Jason Newsted was definitely a good choice. I do have to say my least favorite Metallica album is probably And Justice for All. I think it would have been a lot better had they not turned the bass all the way down for some butthurt reason. But whatever. I think that album was lacking for the lack of bass, but I digress. We're talking about Load, which like I said, I love the album. I loved it when it came out. I thought a lot of the controversy around it was dumb. I realized then this has more to do with their haircuts than the album, because the album's awesome. And it did grow on people. Most people accepted it. Most of the Metallica fans liked the direction it was going in. Evidenced by the fact that when they went on tour for Load and then for Reload, they were selling places out, man. You had to buy your tickets quick. Those joints sold out, which I saw them on their Reload tour in 97, and yeah, man, those tickets sold out fast. You had to get on it and get them tickets. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and they were awesome live at the time, too. Metallica in the 90s is like at the height of their career. You know, if you saw them in the 80s, you saw them in this iconic period. In the 90s, you were kind of seeing them at their height. You know, now they're a legacy act. They're filling stadiums, but I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they are. But it's, I think, maybe a little bit different. I seriously doubt they're as relevant as they were at that time then. You know what I mean? But if you do get to see them, they're definitely a great act to go see. They are really, really awesome. And it's never too late to go see your favorite act until they all die. And then it's too late. I've seen a couple people that are dead now, and I'm glad I went to see them while they weren't. Because to see them now, I'd need a shovel and a Ouija board. So, anyway, before you need a shovel and a Ouija board to go see Metallica, you should probably go check them out, if they're your thing. You know what I mean? And this album, if you haven't heard it, if you're one of these younger people that hasn't heard it, or for some reason you just like floated on past it and didn't give it a listen, give it a try, man. It's heavy as hell, and it's aged really well. And I think part of that is because of how many bands over the years have emulated Metallica. That this is one of the main influences. They are one of the major influences of the metal scene now. So a lot of the current crop of metal bands grew up with this. And it means it still feels kind of like this album could come out today. It still kind of feels that way. It might not play as well now with an audience now as it did then, but I think you could put it out and it would fit in, you know? Which is, I gotta say, honestly, metal hasn't changed as much from the 90s to now as it did from the 70s to the 90s. You know, I think maybe we've, I don't know, stagnated a bit. Maybe a little bit. I don't think music in general has really moved that much in the last 30 years. It's moved ahead. You could tell what period of time a band is from by listening to their music, but I don't know, man. I gotta say, I think a lot of the stuff from late 90s, early 2000s fits in to the current scene perfectly fine. I don't think you could have said that about the 70s bands in the 90s, but I digress. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you have an opinion about it. Tell me what you think, but I think this is an excellent album. If you haven't heard it, give it a listen. And, you know, if you skipped it back then because of all the controversy, Metallica sold out, give it a listen. It's an awesome album. And that's my opinion on that, right? I'd play you some clips, but I don't have to. You can go look it up on YouTube. You're already on YouTube. You're watching this. Just type in Metallica Load full album and give it a listen. It comes up on YouTube. It's amazing. Or look up your Spotify or something. Whatever you listen to music on, it's all over the place. And turn it on, listen to it, beginning to end. See what you think. And tell me if it isn't a really kick-ass album. Those tunes are great. And yeah, so are mine. Here in a sec, check out my music. I got links to streaming down below, and there's a playlist that comes up. It says Talking Dogs. That's my new album. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I love y'all. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.